Bro, Sunday vibe day. One of the Jedis told me to keep squeezing, so you know what? Squeeze I must. In today's short one, we're gonna learn how the whole world is a reflection of you, and whatever image you think you're looking at is an image that you've constructed based on what you believe you are, but in essence it's just consciousness looking at itself. Okay, right, where's my pencil? So there are two unseen, untouchable, unexplained parts of you. They are the black hole in your eye. Yeah, we've touched on this. You can check out my video on the black hole. And the emergent point of consciousness, the spark of consciousness in your mind, your brain, whatever you want to call it. These two, yeah? I've also touched on this. Yeah, the emergent point of consciousness. These two things are literally looking at themselves through the mirror of physicality, yeah? I.e. your body and what you call the real world, but it's not there. Okay? As I told you previously, your eye, which has one of these components, has a high-speed link via the optic nerve to your brain. Now, if we're going to obey physical laws, which tells us that light bounces off objects and reaches our eyes, and our eyes invert them and blah, 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 bollocks. Let's assume we're in a poorly lit room, yeah? Very dark. Not the best, yeah? Not the best. Now, I just put my flash on by accident, actually. So let's assume that now, this room's super dark, right? You have this optic nerve connecting the brain. So these two things are now interacting. When you look at a mirror, and you see a samurai in this poorly lit room, yeah, the laws of physics start to collapse, because before you looked into that mirror, there was nothing. So the starting point was 0. When you looked, you filled out that mirror with, you filled out that mirror with light. Because what does light do? Light allows us to create from our perspective, just like sound does, okay? So we can, based on what we hear and what we see, we're able to use that to construct a world. Yeah? Do you remember? Okay. So my question to you is, what is the image? What is this? What is this samurai? What is it? Because I don't see a samurai anywhere. So the very thing that uses light and sound to create uses light once again through the same optic nerve to create. The laws of physics will tell you that light bounces off this thing and it'll get, but we're saying this is a poorly lit room. It's very dark, actually. Let's say it's dark. Even if it's super dark, you'll still be able to make out the image. Why? Because you will use the light that's coming from the emergent point to fill in the gaps, yeah? And create yourself, even if it's a dark room. So if we take this mirror and we move this mirror and we're looking at the entire world, what do you think you're looking at? What are you actually looking at? Say we remove this mirror. What is this being looking at? This being is simply looking at itself through itself. So this interaction itself acts as a mirror. This is looking at its image, its reflection here. Like I told you, nothing is happening outside of here. So the emergent point is looking at its own reflection here. But to you, because you actually possess this in your physical frame, you think it's coming from here. And you're concerned about what these people think. Aren't you a muppet? Okay, so it was a little quick one. I saw this in a dream, actually. So if you think about the emergent point of consciousness, yeah, that is it there, right? Let's imagine this is a bird's eye view, okay? I want to show you something. Now, the emergent point is not just there and that's it. It's emerging, yeah? That means it's coming. That means it's coming into this dimension, okay? And how it does that is through like expansion, okay? So it will keep expanding. So if you look at these markers, yeah, I've just used this as a guide. So it would have started here and it would have, you know, expanded, and that would have created more expansion, because that's what it is. It's life itself. It creates, yeah? So it'll keep expanding and expanding. And every, you know, as it expands, it keeps building on that, yeah? That's what it's doing, because by doing that, that means the emergent point is actually entering this dimension, yeah? Okay, so think of it this way. That's the bird's eye view, yeah? Now, these T, the markers that I've used, represent life in all forms, yeah? Now, we're going to look at this from the ground level. So this same thing, but from the ground level. So the emergent point now has a ground level perspective. So put that imagine that as yourself, yeah? A human. So you're looking at the T, the markers, all life forms, yeah? So you see trees and birds and fish and people and stuff like that, yeah? Where do you think the people are? Or where do you think they're coming from? And the water thing, you gotta realize that you are mostly water anyway. And the emergent point is emerging in this dimension through water, yeah? If you don't know, go and check out the anatomy, or like go and research the human eye and you see what I'm talking about. Furthermore, your eye actually leaks water, yeah? If this is life itself and it's emerging in water, it stands to reason that we will find life in water. It's only common sense. And the expansion is easily explained, because when you think about it, say this is a person, unique configuration. It's not a person, it's just consciousness. He comes here, he, you know, I don't know, let's say he, I don't know, has kids, whatever. That means he's expanded the experience. Those kids will go on to have different experiences and expand. So as this happens all across the board, the birds, the bees, the fish, this thing keeps expanding. And eventually you're going to end up with something that looks like this. I'm telling you, bro, it's not even a joke, it's real, you know? And if you were to cover it in a human body, you end up with this, a human eye, okay?